name is Shadi. I'm a community health worker with Mental Health Partners, focusing on getting teens and young adults better access to mental health and just how to have more mental health on their own. And today we're going to be in our first part of how to navigate having mental health conversations with your teens as parents and caregivers. And to begin this presentation, I really just want to discuss what exactly mental health is so that throughout the presentation, when I keep referring to mental health, we all have a general understanding of what exactly I'm speaking to. And the definition I have here before me is that mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects the way we think, feel, and how we act when we face life. It can also help determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and how we make decisions. And mental health is important in all stages of our lives, from childhood and adolescence to adulthood and old age. And I think oftentimes as a society, when we think about or discuss mental health, oftentimes we're thinking of mental illnesses or mental disorders, but mental health is something that everybody has the same way we all have physical health. And the same way that we take care of our physical health through exercise, eating healthy, visiting a doctor, we'd also want to take care of our mental health as well. And so now that we've discussed a little bit about what mental health is, I want to talk about what happens when we neglect our mental health. And neglecting mental health may result in a mental disability or mental illness. While not always the case, this is a possibility of happening. And this is something that could disrupt our day-to-day lives and how we go through daily activities. So especially for our teens, this could include school and work, daily tasks and duties, and maintaining the relationships and social structures that they have in their lives. And again, especially with youth these days who have so much on their plate, from going to school, homework, extracurricular activities, sports, working, and maintaining a social circle, it can be hard to maintain their mental health and the self-care that they need to do on a daily basis in order to maintain having a strong mental health. And I want to note that mental illnesses can also be just as debilitating as physical illnesses. So for example, moderate depression is similar to having symptoms of multiple sclerosis, severe asthma, and chronic hepatitis B, while severe depression has been comparable to tetraplegia, which is involuntary and inability to move upper and lower body. And so it's just important to note that these mental illnesses can also present themselves in physical ways too, and should be treated as physical symptoms. And I think a reason that we find it difficult for teens to be able to address their mental health needs and receive proper mental health care is that there's often a lot of stigma associated with getting that support in the mental health world. So there are two main types of stigma associated with mental health. The first is public stigma, which implies a negative or discriminatory attitude that others have about mental health. So this includes parents, families, friends, saying things such as, seeking help is a sign of weakness. The laundry is washed at home and you have a roof over your head, so you should just be grateful that you have those things. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Or mental health is just for the crazy people. Or you have to be strong enough to be able to just move on from your emotions. And these are all things that create that public stigma and cause teens not to reach out to others for help. The second type of stigma is self-stigma, which refers to a negative attitude, including internalized shame that people with mental illnesses have about their own conditions. However, it's important to remember that the faster that someone receives treatment for a mental illness, the more likely they are to have a full recovery. So it's important to not have this self-stigma and be an advocate to getting that help that you need for your mental illness. And then also just keeping in mind that discrimination and judgment can cause individuals with mental illnesses to question whether or not they should seek treatment. And so breaking down this stigma is crucial to getting more of our teens to have generalized access to mental health care and breaking down a lot of the barriers that we see today. While there's a wide range of different mental health concerns and different mental illnesses that our teens and young adults face today, depression and anxiety are the two most common mental health concerns found among this population. And both depression and anxiety have mental symptoms along with physical symptoms that are associated with the mental illnesses themselves. And while this list I'm about to share with you is not a comprehensive list, these are just some of the most common and most frequently seen symptoms to look out for among depression and anxiety. So with depression, there's often feelings of sadness, loss of energy, loss of interest in daily activities, and loss of appetite. And with anxiety, there's things such as palpitations, shortness of breath, dizziness, headaches, stomach aches and nausea, muscle pains, extreme worry, and stress in social situations. And I just want to highlight again how both lists had those physical and mental symptoms. And it's important to remember that each person's body is different, and your thoughts, feelings, and emotions can present themselves in different ways. So for somebody, depression may look like extreme thoughts of sadness, worry, and despair. But for a teen or a young adult, this may look more like loss of appetite or loss of interest in daily activities. So it's important that we're not comparing ourselves to one another. So now I want to talk about some other difficulties commonly experienced by teens and young adults, but just showing that mental health concerns don't always have to present themselves in diagnosable ways, and that some days are just considered bad mental health days, and that there are some things that show how mental health can affect our day-to-day lives. So some common difficulties experienced by teens and young adults include the following: not being able to get out of the bed in the morning, not knowing how to manage time, not knowing how to prioritize self-care, stress caused by school, social pressures, and losing interest in things that were once previously enjoyable. And however, please keep in mind that if your teen or young adult is doing one or some of these things, that does not mean that they have a mental illness, but just noticing the frequency of these events and how often they're occurring can help with getting your teen care if they so need it. The next thing I want to discuss is just the predominance of a variety of different mental health disorders and behavioral actions. And the reason I want to highlight this information is just to show the normalcy of mental health concerns among the adolescent population, to assure you that your teen is not alone. So for example, 32% of teens experience an anxiety disorder, and an even higher percentage will experience some kinds of feelings of anxiety without being diagnosed with a mental illness. And being able to normalize these disorders, feelings, thoughts, and emotions allows your teen to seek the care and guidance that they are needing and feeling more comfortable for reaching out for help. All right, everyone, thank you for watching this first segment of our Navigating Mental Health Conversations with Teens and Young Adults. We look forward to seeing you guys for the remainder of our videos in this series. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and comment down below. Thank you. Bye.